If you're planning a trip for the near future, you might be wondering how you can pack better and save money on those checked luggage fees, or maybe you heard horror stories of people losing or airlines losing travelers checked in luggages, and you just want to make sure that you'll be able to watch your luggage at all times. Well, in either case, with airlines charging more fees for checked-in bags and even losing them, it has become more popular to travel with carry-on only. So let's talk about some carry-on packing tips that you can put into use on your next trip. And by the way, hi guys, my name is Mila and I make travel videos like this with travel tips and travel vlogs each week. So consider subscribing if you haven't already. So firstly, what is a carry-on? What is considered to be a carry-on size? So some airlines allow you to only take a personal item with you free of charge, which means that it has to go, the bag has to go under the seat in front of you. So that would maybe be if you have, for example, a Fjällräven Konken backpack, that's one, or any other that's this size. This is the Osprey Sportlight 25 liter, so this would go under the seat in front of me as well. Then again, some airlines actually allow you to take a personal item and a bigger carry-on bag with you, which then would go in the overhead bin. So for example, if you have Osprey 5.40 liter, this would be then also a carry-on sized item if you're allowed to bring a bigger carry-on suitcase with you, or a similar size rolling suitcase as well. So what is allowed free of charge kind of depends on the airline that you're flying with, and you always have to check on the airline's homepage or website what is allowed and what is free of charge and what you have to pay extra for, because it's always mentioned. For example, some very low-cost airlines like Ryanair, EasyJet only allow you to take a personal item, whilst many other airlines do still allow you to take a personal item and a bigger carry-on suitcase. Dimensions also vary a bit depending on the airline, but usually they're pretty much very similar, pretty much the same. So the Osprey 4.40 liter would be allowed if you're allowed to take a bag that goes in the overhead bin, for example. Okay, so we got our bag. Now what should we actually pack in it? How should we pack? So first thing to note is that you don't need to bring 16 tops or 5 pairs of shorts. If you're going for a 2 or even a 2 week or even longer trip, you don't have to pack for the 2 weeks. You don't have to have one piece of clothing for every single day of those weeks, those 2 weeks. If you pack for 5 to 7 days, you'll be good to go, regardless of the length of your trip. For example, if I would go on a 6-month trip, I would still pack the same amount as if I would go on a 2-week trip or a 1-week trip. I always pack so that I have some clothing for a week. This is the rule that I personally swear by, and this allows me to always travel carry-on only. You will always have the possibility to do laundry on your trip, or most likely, if you're going to the middle of nowhere, maybe not. If you don't have water, then yeah. But for the majority of the time, you will have the possibility to do laundry either in a laundromat or at the hostel or hotel that you're staying in. If your Airbnb has a washing machine, a lot of countries in Southeast Asia and Central America have very affordable laundromats. So you will always have the possibility to do laundry. Or in worst case scenarios, you can just hand wash your laundry, and in that case, whenever I'm traveling, I do always bring a soap that I can wash my clothes with. One soap that I do recommend is the Dr. Bronner's 18-in-1 soap. It's magic, because what soap can wash 18 things? Dr. Bronner's. If you get the solid version of the Dr. Bronner's soap, you can still fit a lot of other liquids, for example, because when you travel with carry-on only, you also have to always consider the amount of liquids that you bring. So let's talk about liquids, because as I said, if you're traveling with carry-on only, there will always be a specific amount of liquids that you can bring. You can bring liquids that fit into a container of 100 milliliter or 3.4 ounces for my American friends out there, and these all have to fit into a 1 liter bag, like a see-through bag, like a Ziploc bag, which means a quart size bag for my American friends. So all the liquids have to fit in that bag. So again, the containers need to be 100 milliliter or 3.4 ounces, and they all have to fit into one liter see-through bag, like a Ziploc bag, or a quart size see-through bag, like a Ziploc bag. And remember, you can always buy stuff abroad. There are people living where you're traveling probably, so things like shampoo, conditioner, sunscreen, toothpaste, deodorant, shower gel, everything, you can buy them abroad. Of course, maybe things like sunscreen might be a bit more difficult but to find, or very expensive, but they can be found. So everyday essentials can be bought abroad. Except again, if you're traveling to the middle of nowhere, maybe just make sure that you have some basic stuff with you, but then maybe you don't need as many items either. So the limited amount of liquids is one reason why you might want to consider opting for solid alternatives. For example, shampoo and conditioner bars. For example, Ethique or Lush has some good ones. Or if you're in Finland, I do really highly recommend a company called Famo, but they're only in Finland, so just keep that in mind. Also, solid deodorant like Schmidt's is one that I really like. Facial cleanser and even sunscreen, like sun protection, can be bought in solid bars. For example, for facial cleanser, Ethique and again Lush, I believe, has some good ones. And for sunscreen, I don't really know, but there are some out there that have solid versions. Now, when it comes to clothing, like what clothing you should pack if you only have like this amount, like this small backpack, or even only this one. So first of all, pack neutral colors and clothing that you can mix and match with everything. If you have a t-shirt that you really want to bring but it only goes like with this specific short or shorts, then maybe don't bring it. Like, you want clothing that can be mixed and matched with everything you have. And also another good point to keep in mind is to only bring clothing that you really enjoy wearing. If you're thinking about bringing something that you have worn the last time in 2016 and you're like, well, maybe I'll be wearing this on my vacation, no, don't bring it, just leave it at home. If you're going to warm and tropical or hot climates, you might want to bring only things that are very light, like materials that are very light and airy, flowy, thin, instead of bringing very thick and heavy materials like jeans, for example. Also, a very important thing to keep in mind is that you should always do some kind of research before your trip, like about the culture, for example. For example, in Southeast Asia, there's a huge backpacking scene, which means that flip-flops, they're okay to wear everywhere. You can go to a party, like a fancy party, with flip-flops, doesn't matter. But then again, if you're going to the Middle East, maybe you don't want to bring like shorts that don't cover your butt cheeks. So for example, if you go to the Middle East, you want clothing that really covers you up, like covers the shoulders and your knees, because that's the way the culture is there. So regardless if you're packing light or not, just remember to be very respectful towards the culture in your destination. Also, if you're going to temples in places like Southeast Asia, then those shorts that don't cover your butt cheeks aren't probably the best idea either in that scenario. And if you have some kind of clothing that wrinkle very easily, then just leave that at home, because if you're gonna be packing and rolling it up in the backpack or in your rolling carry-on suitcase, it'll wrinkle easily and it's gonna be hard to wear it. So don't pack things that wrinkle easily, pack things that you can mix and match and that you also feel very comfortable in, that you already wear, and that are also considered like that are also respectful towards the culture in your destination. Okay, so some other tips for you. So packing cubes, they're great because they make it very easy to organize, and also they add some kind of compression. So yeah, packing cubes, just get some and it'll make packing a whole lot easier. Also, if you're going to colder climates, maybe add something like a packable jacket instead of a very heavy June jacket. Like a packable jackets are available from places like Uniqlo, I think, and also Patagonia has some packable jackets that are good in colder climates. Also, if you want to bring a towel, just make sure that it's one that packs very small, like a travel microfiber towel. I don't personally like them, I just don't like how they feel on my skin, and they're not very comfortable, so I always take a Turkish hammam towel with me. It packs very small and it's very comfortable and much better than a microfiber towel, also for the planet, I've heard. Also, keep in mind that if you have a lot of things that don't take up a lot of space, those will add up. If you have many things that are so small, they will add up. So like if you think, oh well, this top and this bikini, they don't take up a lot of space. No, they don't when they're separate, but if you have like 20 of those, they will add up. They will take a lot of space. Also, try to get things that are smaller, like the smaller version of certain things. And now I'm maybe talking mostly about electronics, for example. If you need your laptop on your trip, maybe consider like at some point downsizing for a laptop that's very like smaller and also lighter. Like for example, I have the MacBook Air, which works great for traveling, instead of having a very bulky, heavy laptop. Or maybe just bring an iPad or tablet that takes up little space. And speaking of that, also if you like to read, instead of bringing a lot of books with you, maybe consider getting an e-reader or an ebook app. I have an ebook app which is also good for audiobooks, so that's one way. I have it on my phone, so like no need to pack anything extra when I can read on my phone. Also try to keep my camera gear very minimalistic and light, so if you have some camera gear, maybe just think about what is the least amount of camera gear that you can bring and still make it work for you. But again, this of course depends on your needs and requirements. If you want to go very minimalistic, maybe consider switching to barefoot shoes. I don't recommend making the switch like at once, but if you would like to try them out, I like them. Like personally, I really enjoy using barefoot shoes, and even though I always keep my Birkenstocks sandals because I just love them so much, but otherwise now like most of my shoes are barefoot shoes, which is great also for traveling because they pack up so small. And also I do have a free printable PDF with a packing list, and these packing tips also included in there. So if you want to get your hands on that one, I will leave a link in the description, and you can get it for free, completely for free. So yeah, download that if you're interested. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and these tips. I will link my packing video playlist here so you can binge watch those, because I am sure that you can get some tips from those videos as well. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye!